Yo, 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 yo. All right. So this video is going to be going over the strings playground. Now, if you don't want me to annotate and walk you through this and you think you can just read it on your own and do some of the exercises, then go ahead and you don't have to watch the video. But if you're like, I'd rather have Mr. Lane kind of explain some of these things and you want to watch through it, or come back to the pieces that you don't understand. I'm going to go through every page so we can get a good understanding of what strings are. Okay, so strings. Look at about any app and you will see text. So text is everywhere, including message apps, news readers, social media apps, and more. Even camera apps might use text to label buttons and controls. In most programming languages, including Swift, text values are called strings. So you can read this here. I'm not going to explain why they're calling them strings in programming. If you want to read why, go for it. We're going to actually explain what they do and what they are. Okay? So on the next page, characters. Of course, text can contain more than just letters. These are punctuation marks, numbers, symbols, and even spaces. All of these things are known as characters, and strings are made up of characters. So just looking at all the different things, letters, punctuation, numbers, symbols, blank spaces, they can all be strings. Okay? Now, defining strings. In the previous playground, you declared a number constant like this. Let height in centimeters equals 7,817. Okay, so we did this before. Now, to declare a string constant, you can put text between the quotation marks like this. Okay, so quick thing, you have to run your code in order for this stuff to show up on the side here for you. You'll have the little boxes, and you can pop them out like this, or you can open them up like this. You can add to viewer. Mine looks a little different because I'm doing it on the computer. Okay, so notice here that when these show up, this is how it's run, and this is how it's read as the code. So it's all about words. Everything that you have labeled on all your devices are strings. Like, for instance, all of the labels for your apps are strings. All the words inside your apps that you see and read are strings. Okay, so everything is a string that you can read. All right. So declare string values also appear in the results sidebar. So here they are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to practice. So we're going to do let. So we're going to declare a constant. So we're going to do let, and we're going to call it favorite movie. And it's going to equal your favorite movie. Okay. And then when you run your code, it should show up on the side. Same thing for favorite song. We'll go old rap. You put your own stuff in there while you do it. Okay, so it shows up on the side. You're good to go, and you've now created your first string. This page goes over Unicode. So Unicode compliancy shows that all languages and symbols and characters from many different languages all are interchangeable. So you can have English constants that say different languages as strings. You can have constants in different languages that say things as English or any other language as strings. So it's very universal. So just run my code to see everything show up on the side here. You can do emojis. So on the Mac, you're going to type control space bar to open it up if you're using a Mac, but obviously you know where the emoji button is on your keyboard on the iPad. You can use emoji names. Okay, now this can be fun in small doses, but many programmers find it difficult to type, to read, and less expressive than using words. So you can play around with this, but when we do work, this is not what I want you guys to turn in. Okay. Combining strings. So programmers often need to combine strings together. For example, you might see a message like Chris likes your post in a social media app. In Swift, you can combine these strings by adding them together. Okay, so run your code, and this is the one I want you to pay attention to. So notice it's taking username, which has Chris inside of it. It's adding a blank space, and then it's adding this message inside of it, and together, when it's run, you get Chris likes your post. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. It's just taking what's inside of it and putting it inside. Now we're going to do something down here very similar. So let first name, do everything as a string. Okay, now you could pause the video and just do this on your own to see if you can figure it out, and then you can kind of scrub or scroll through till the end. Okay, just to give it a shot. Okay, so let full name. Make sure you're practicing camel case. We're gonna do first name, and then remember we got to add a blank space in there so our name and that doesn't come together. Okay, and then combine first name with likes your post message. And if you remember, likes your post message already exists, so you don't have to create it again. If you try to create this again, you'll get an error saying that you've created it twice. Remember, you only have to create it once. Don't do extra coding if you don't need to. So we're going to combine your first name with likes your post. So we can do we'll do let message equals first name, okay, plus, gonna do another space, and then likes your post. Now use your auto bar that's showing up at the bottom of your keyboard, okay, at the bottom of your screen on your iPad, so you don't have to keep typing it all out. And then when you run your code, it should say your name likes your post. So if you got this working, you're good to go. We can move on to the next page. Okay, fill in the blanks. So combining strings by adding them together works very well. You may have noticed, however, that you need to remember to add spaces between the words. Otherwise, the words run together. Okay, so if you run this, notice that this is all together. All right, so if I can just stop for a second, on pages that have the experiments, please do them. Remember, practicing is everything to remembering how this stuff works, okay? Now, imagine an app that welcomes the user when they arrive to a new city. You want the string to say something like, hello, Tara, welcome to Paris. You could build that string by adding strings together, but it gets a little complicated. So first name, city, hello, plus first name, plus welcome city. So hello, Tara, welcome to Paris. So they're saying that it just gets complicated by the plus, the first name, the plus, the spaces, the plus, the city. Okay, so they're just saying there's an easier way to fill in the blanks than doing it in this particular fashion. Okay, so this is what's called the string interpolation, which we're going to see on the next page. Okay. This is an important one. You see this across Swift and what I do in my class. So just try to memorize this one. You'll be tested or quiz tested on it, or you have to do work with it. So in Swift, you can define a string that placeholders or with placeholders that will be replaced with values. It works a lot like the fill in the blanks example from the previous page. Hello, blank, welcome to blank. You don't use blank spaces as placeholders in Swift. You use slash, parentheses, and then whatever is going inside here. So the value of name replaces the placeholder. So here it is in action. Notice the results sidebar that the values of first name and city are filled in. So first name equals Tim, city's Cupertino, the welcome string is hello, and then that's / parentheses first name, welcome to city, and notice when you pop it up, okay, and you're not going to see the whole thing, so we might have to do it down here. So welcome Tim, so notice that this is completely replaced now by the name, welcome to Cupertino, and city is replaced by Cupertino. Notice that the syntax, and what I mean by syntax is the slash and the parentheses disappear when it actually pops out, okay? So that's kind of coding in action and kind of setting up placeholders. So we're going to do our own. So create your own string describing your favorite food. I like blank because it is blank. Now, if you don't like pie, change it to whatever you want. Okay, if you want to leave it, that's fine. But if you think you can do this without my help, pause the video right here and try it yourself. Okay, so define a string below. All right, so we're just do let message equals. All right, now I am going to say I like, and then it says to do this method. Okay. Because it is, and then we have another one. Make sure you're using the correct slash. Now, if you don't have quotation marks on this side, notice that everything is red. Okay, so you have to have the quotation marks closing for this to work. The second thing is if you have the wrong slash, it will also be red. So make sure that you're using the correct slash. This is the right slash. It's called the escape character. Now, inside here, we can type in what we want to put in. So I like, and we're going to put favorite food. Now notice your menu bar is popping up on your iPad as soon as you type F, and you just select favorite food. Okay? Same thing over here. We're going to go to reason, press type R, and just select it in your menu bar. Boom. Okay? I like pizza because it is tasty. Perfect. It works. So make sure that you understand how this works. Okay. Viewing results in playgrounds. Now, this is not going to make sense because you're not using a computer, but essentially it's the same thing. Press run my code, and then you have the pop-outs. Okay? That's kind of what it looks like when it pops out for you, and then that's what it looks like when you put the pop-up viewer. Okay? That's it. That's what this page is saying. Okay? If we were on the computer, it would make a little bit more sense. More than strings. Okay, string interpolation is a powerful way to build strings. In addition to substituting string values, you can substitute in other values too, like numbers or even calculations. Okay. So, here's everything set up. Goalie name is a string constant. These are integer constants because they're numbers and they're whole numbers. And then goalie reporting string has all these different things. Okay, so when this finally pops out at the end of the game yesterday, Allison had 3 saves in the first half, 6 in the second half, and 2 saves in overtime for a total of 11 saves. Notice how it adds these together. Okay, so experiment. People have been playing fun fill-in-the-blank games for a long time. You can create a basic version of the game in the bat and the playground. Make up a short fill-in-the-blank story, use the one below. Okay, so we're going to create the story. And all I want you to do is just take the first 2 sentences. And it's going to paste in an extra quotation mark. So, well, let's see. All right, so I'm going to put this on fast forward to create this. So we're going to create a constant for name, number, adjective, and noun. Okay? Okay, and then what we're going to do is we are just going to replace each one of these to save time here. Okay. You've defined a lot of strings by putting characters between quotation marks, but what if you want that string to include quotation marks? You should try adding quotation marks in the middle of a string. Uncomment the bad string line code below and see what happens. Okay, so let's uncomment this, and you got to run your code, and notice we get an error. And it says consecutive statements on a line must be separated by this. Okay, never do this. Never click fix where it says add a semicolon, it won't work. And then it doesn't understand what hi and there is. Okay. So you get an error because Swift thinks the string definition is finished at the second quotation mark just before the hi. Then it doesn't know how to interpret the rest of the line of code. When you're done exploring, comment the code again so it goes away. Okay, so instead of making it go away, let's just fix it like they did it down here. So the solution is to include quotation marks in a string is type a backslash before the quotation mark. Okay, so we're going to do that escape character before both of those, and then when it pops up we notice that, hey, look at that, just shows up and works just like the bottom. Hey. Okay, so the backslash tells Swift to treat what comes next as special. Since the quotation mark characters follows the backslash, Swift treats it differently. It includes the quotation mark in the string rather than ending the definition of the string. Because the backslash character is how you escape from the normal behavior of a string, it's called the escape character. Okay, so when you guys get to where you have to define these things, come back to this page and pull out this definition. So the escape character followed by something that's treated specially is called an escape sequence. You've already seen 2 different kinds of escape sequences. You have one that adds quotation marks to the string, and we have one that uses the string interpolation. Okay, make sure you run your code for these to show up. Okay, so it's replacing chocolate inside here. Some escape sequences Swift let you use invisible characters. One that you'll use quite often is the new line character. As you might have guessed from the name, this character makes the text skip to a new line. So the escape sequence for a new line is the backslash character followed by the letter N. So start of a poem, roses are red, period. And as soon as they put the slash N, notice that when you actually look at this, the second sentence, violets are blue, goes to the new line because of the slash N. Okay. All right. And that's the wrap. So that is kind of the wrap up. I will have a separate video for the exercise that I want you to work on.